And we're glad to welcome our buddy Drew Deeks back into the studio today. And, of course, we have John Fillion, my co-host, who's here every week with me.
Bonjour, mes amis.
Bonjour, bonjour. Everybody okay there?
We okay. Welcome to the Absolutely podcast. We here and we absolutely happy to be here. I'm sorry.
Let me make a correction here.
Bienvenue, Drew.
That's pretty bad.
We have Igor Slafkovsky in the studio today. Not
Igor!
Is that his name?
Is this a wrestling podcast?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, right now, Stone Cold, Steve Austin will take over this dang show. We ain't gonna talk about no Toronto Maple Leafs.
Sorry.
Wow. That's a pretty good imitation. I would have thought it was him.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I didn't at all.
No, you didn't.
But let's say hello to the people in video
What up,
land.
everybody?
Paul, John, Ringo. We're missing George.
George!
Richie.
George, get in there. The show's on.
So here
Show's
we go.
on. Sorry.
See, Habsolutely is a lot of fun. This isn't just a show about the Habs, although it is all Habs, all show. But it is a lot of fun to be here in the studio. We have a ball. We have
more fun every single time we do this.
We
I think
really
that's why
do.
people who, even though some think we don't know the first thing about hockey, what is a hockey puck? I don't even know.
I don't
Okay.
know. I like the.
You are a hockey puck. I read that the other day.
Don't you puck with me.
And we got Don Rickles over here. You know, I love the
Easy.
comments, though. Like in the last video, we have 2,500 views or something, right?
Almost 3,000 now.
Almost 3,000. So, like, the one
Because
was
we
the
need to
best.
brag. We need to feel good
And
about
thank you
ourselves.
for your likes.
Yes, thank you for your likes. Don't forget to like it, because that's what we need. But the funny
I
one
like
was
it.
the one I really liked
like it.
was the one I really liked was the one that said that this one gentleman who's probably in his 80s said he welcomed,
An octogenarian?
He says, yeah, he said he's glad to see another octogenarian, John, in the show here. So
A lot of
that's
octogenarians
good.
that I know can't see very well, actually.
Yeah, well, that's probably the problem.
I'm glad I brought my laptop today so I
We
can
get-
look up what you guys are talking about. This is great.
We got to get a halo light in here to shine on John so that they can see he's not an octogenarian.
Don't let that halo choke you on the way
Don't let
down.
that sun go down on me.
There you go, something.
Oh, brother,
Okay,
what a show.
let's start with a little Habs trivia. I always like to start with Habs trivia after the
I
season's
love
over.
starting the show that way.
Donnie Marshall.
And we're going to go through this now. Let's see. In 1980, this was 7 years before you,
That's why I brought my laptop today.
the Habs drafted Doug Wickenheiser,
Oh,
first overall.
I know.
First
And
overall.
he was a decent enough player. We like Doug Wickenheiser. But they passed on a player that went on to score 4 times as many goals and play twice as many games in the NHL.
Savard?
Who was that player?
Savard?
Okay, what do you think?
It was
I'm
19
going to tell you the names.
Oh, yeah.
Marcel
Thank you.
Dion, Pierre Turgeon,
Nope.
Dennis Savard,
Dennis Savard.
and Claude Loisel.
Was Dennis Savard.
So do I even guess anybody else? He's
Well, you
pretty
can
certain
if you
here.
want. You can if you want. I mean,
Mario No. I'm going to go with John because if I'm wrong, we're both wrong.
well, John's got it right. Dennis Savard
Thank you.
was the guy. He's got
Thank
it
you.
right on the money.
Messy.
But, I mean, a lot of people might have thought Marcel Dion, but remember, he was drafted by the LA Kings.
Earlier.
Yeah, and he was by the Kings anyway. It wasn't. He didn't get
67.
The, yeah, he
Cheers
didn't
to
get
Marcel.
Montreal.
Yeah,
Pierre
cheers to
Turgeon
Marcel.
could have been one. I mean, he played
Possible.
for Montreal. And Claude Loisel, well, I never even heard of the guy, to be honest with you, so
But
I wouldn't have picked him anyway.
The big controversy, of course, is who do you pick first overall?
It always is, right?
You know, I mean, the beauty is we got this guy named Slafkovsky, and he's tearing it up.
Yeah, there you go.
Like I said, he always would.
And you know what? At the end of the day, yeah, I know.
Is that
you
Matt calling
apologize.
already?
You apologize for that. No, that's the phone out there. We got a million phones here.
Okay.
But the thing is about that is that Doug Wickenheiser was a hell of a player. So I can't say that we are bad drafting him.
But what
Who
did
knew about
Doug
Savard?
Wickenheiser do?
Well, he got 4 times less goals than Savard.
Exactly.
And but here's another little fact.
He was a great hockey player prior to playing in the NHL, and he never lived up to what people believed he would be.
His billing
as an NHL player. And that's the interesting thing as you go into a draft, choosing a player based on what they've done, not necessarily based on what you think they will do.
Exactly. There's been a ton of these guys around. I mean, we saw
Absolutely.
Shane Wright and Benoit Pouliot and all these other guys. Now, here's another
Benoit Pouliot, that's a throwback right there.
Here's another one.
2009 or 8.
Here's another one. Who has drafted the most? Who has had the most first round picks since they introduced the draft in 1963? What team has had the most?
First overall?
Yeah, first overall pick.
Well, it's got to be the Oilers.
Okay, John?
Maybe not.
No.
Do we have multiple choice on this again?
It's got to be one
No.
of the worst teams
Darn
in
it.
the NHL. That would make
The Houston Rockets.
total sense.
I'm just
Okay, Boston Bruins?
The Bruins or the Leafs, right?
Yeah.
Actually, to
Bruins
be
are-
honest with you, and this is going to blow your mind,
It's going to be an expansion team.
it was the Montreal Canadiens. They've had 6 first overall picks since 1963.
And so they traded up a lot.
And here's the amazing thing about that, you guys.
fun facts.
Here's another fun fact. How many Stanley Cups has Montreal won since 1963 when they introduced this?
Since 1963?
Since they introduced this draft. Yeah.
Well, they won.
12.
That's a good guess.
Bang, right on.
Are you serious?
Yes, 65, 66.
I said it was a good guess, Drew.
68,
Don't leave me hanging.
69, 71, 73, 76, 77, 78, 79, 86, and 93.
I gotta tell ya,
dozen.
Right out of my rear end, I pulled that one. I'll tell you right now. Like that was
The
something.
dirty dozen. When I first saw this,
The
I
spirit
thought,
of the
I
Habs.
guessed like 10, and I was too wrong. But that's amazing in that amount of time. And here's what's more amazing for all you people out there in Videoland is we had 6 first overall picks with this kind of success.
Yeah.
So who does
So
that?
the draft system is broken. Is what you're saying.
But I'm going. How can
Nowadays.
we win this many cups in this many years?
Are you trying to say though, Paul, that the NHL should reward teams and not encourage failure in order to get good top first picks?
No, I'm just
Was that
saying
English?
that. I'm just saying that with a team with so much success in them, those 61 years, right? It's been 61 years since 1963.
Yeah.
It's amazing that we got that many first overall picks. Like we had a lot of cups there.
Well, we may have traded up for some of those picks.
We could have,
Okay,
yeah, because
or,
Sam Pollock
you know.
was a genius with this kind of stuff.
I want to hear your pretty.
Yeah,
picks.
much like Kent Hughes and
Yeah,
Michel
Therrien.
Therrien.
No,
Michel Therrien. Anyone got a cigarette?
not Michel Bergevin.
Don't encourage smoke.
Michel
Do not
Bergeron,
smoke.
Bergevin.
who may be back in business.
Yeah, he's good. They're looking at him for the Leaf. Shanahan's talking to him.
What? Wait.
Columbus is talking to
And
him.
I'm going,
Columbus.
Great.
No, is Toronto interested?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not.
Toronto's interested in anybody.
Toronto's interested.
Anybody that
in-
moves, Toronto's interested
Yeah,
in.
there's-
right
Thank
now.
you.
If there's,
Thank you.
if there's a bum on the market, Toronto's interested in them. Believe me.
Well,
So anyway, that's our
people
our
need
trivia.
jobs.
Yeah, that's our trivia. Anyway, so interesting stuff. Just going back in the past with since we're in draft season here.
Somebody
We are.
told me they saw Mitch Marner the other day at Fireman's Park, and he was weed whacking, and it was because he needed to do more work in the corners or something like that.
Well, I mean that weed whacker is kind of like a hockey stick.
Well,
man.
that's what I heard. I mean, Mayor Jim Deodati's got inroads with the Leafs, so I don't know.
He's a Habs fan. Let's be
He's
clear.
a Habs fan,
Our
but-
mayor
but
of Niagara Falls is a Canadiens
Oh, yeah.
fan.
Oh,
Let's
he's a
get
huge Habs
serious
fan.
here.
But the Leafs,
He's a fan of the
used
team that
the
Rivers
Leafs
win.
have used our training facility, and maybe they thought Marner could use some more training here.
I didn't know where he was going with that. I'm like, I can't wait to just take a ride on this boat right now. Oh my gosh, Marner, the person, nice guy, the player,
Sweetheart.
got to figure it out, honey.
We got to get our shots in. We just have to get our shots in. That's all there is to it. I mean,
Got to get him in. Got to
you know?
get him in.
So last week we talked about the playoff series, and we're going to just touch on them for a minute because we really, with the Habs aren't in it, I really don't care.
The Edmonton game was fun last night.
But yeah, the Edmonton game was fun. I watched the Boston game yesterday. That was pretty good. The Rangers games are pretty good. So they're all good if you like hockey. Unfortunately, I like Habs hockey. That's my problem. I have a
Fortunately, you do.
problem. Well, fortunately, yeah, bad for hockey. But I
Unfortunately,
like
the
watching the
people-
Habs.
But a bit of controversy in the hockey games recently. As far as refereeing goes in the Boston series?
Yeah, the one guy's been accused of throwing games and everything else. So, I mean,
it's quite the stir that's been going on.
It really, really is. But
if
you know what?
Yeah.
I watch these referees all year.
That's true.
They suck. I mean, let's face it. Let's call it a spade here. They stink. The referees are terrible. Probably the worst in professional sports, I would say.
Oh, not according to Gary, Paul.
Gary who?
Gary Bettman.
Oh,
One of the best officials in all the sports. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? My voice really screeched there. Sorry.
Being a referee is a very tough job. No doubt about it.
It is.
But consistency...
And yet, get it right.
Consistency is very important.
I don't know. That word is used so much in hockey with players, with consistency, trying to... We hear it more from Marty St. Louis' mouth or whatever coach or whatever player than any other word sometimes when it comes to how do you become a good team? Well, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. You got to win on a regular basis. You got to improve on a regular basis and get to the level that you want to get to, right? But the inconsistency of NHL refereeing is up for much debate. It's already been debated for years. If you watched our boy Steve Dangle's podcast the other day, that guy went off, and he's been going off plenty before that. But the guy is a Leaf diehard. He's famous for covering the Toronto Maple Leafs, and when he's defending Brad Marchand, something's wrong. Something's freaking wrong. So, like, I watched that podcast, and I appreciate Steve's passion. He's helped inspire the name, everything else. Got to meet the crew. They're great. And they have a good show and a good following for a reason, because they follow hockey full time, not just the Leafs. And the inconsistency of the refereeing from regular season to playoffs, I get that things are more open in the playoffs, and I kind of think they should be. It makes for entertaining hockey, but lately they're getting exposed for the inconsistencies, are they not? Or am I crazy?
I mean, there's always been the adage that let the players determine the game, not the referee.
Right.
And I totally get that, especially within playoff mode. But you have to call like a spade, basically.
Yeah.
You have to call goalie interference. It's goalie interference or it's not goalie interference.
That's the hardest one to determine right now. Hardest one.
That's the consistency that we're talking about. You know?
And I know what you're talking about, John, because one time a guy will wrap his arm around a guy and he's called for holding. The next time it doesn't. I've seen guys tackled.
Absolutely.
Like cross-checking has to be re-examined from head to toe on what is legal and illegal cross-check, because in the playoffs, you can get away with about 9 out of 10 cross-checks, and it's that one they're going to call. In the regular season, though, they call a little baby slash on the glove, a little slap on the wrist like in basketball. It's a foul. It's frustrating sometimes, but
for the players, it is.
For the players more than anybody.
And the fans.
And the fans, yeah. Players and the fans. And the coaches.
And it determines outcomes
of
games.
Especially in the playoffs, because the games right now are so close. I mean, they're 2-1 and 3-2 and 4-3.
It's been good hockey. Don't ruin it.
Determines out, and that's why it's like, let the players play. But sometimes when you do let the players play, it gets out of control.
So where's the line? That's what I mean. Like,
that's where the referees...
and that's what referees need to do, is to control the game, rope it in. Don't let the game get out of control. That to me is the most important thing a referee does, is not let the game get out of control.
Yeah, and
game management is their main job, and then penalties. I don't know if that's...
And it's a matter of pulling these players aside and saying, listen, I don't want to affect the outcome of this game. You're allowed to play. But if you don't embarrass me, don't do something stupid where I have to call a penalty. I don't want to call penalties. I want the game to be 5-on-5. That's how it was designed.
Absolutely.
It wasn't designed to be played shorthanded.
Unless you go into overtime and it's designed to be 3-on-3.
In the regular season.
Only in the world of Gary Bettman, because...
in the World Hockey Tournament as well.
Yeah, I know.
It was a worthy experiment, because it does create a much more exciting overtime product for the game. The shootout, I don't know about. I think we're all kind of done. If the shootout was gone tomorrow, nobody would blink at it. So, but what do you think about 3-on-3? Are you guys kind of not in favor of regular season?
You know what?
I hate overtime. I wanted to go back to
ties.
But I mean, for regular season, you want ties again?
I want ties. I don't like this at all, this overtime. It's a bunch of baloney. Better teams with better players have an advantage in a 3-on-3 or a shootout. And if a bad team can take a number one team to a tie game,
So be
Why
it.
should they be penalized in overtime? Because that's what's going to happen. The better team's going to win. They usually do.
Yeah.
So why should
guess
they
so.
get the extra point for playing a crappy game? I think the team that tied them, who's below them in the standings, should get the extra point for playing a hell of a game against a number one team.
Yeah, that's why they might change the point system at least, so that
Well, 3-2-1 would be better.
like 3-2-1, I think would be more interesting. I mean,
That would make it better.
so I'm in favor of that. Can you do me a favor? I don't know if you're able to message me the Wi-Fi code for my laptop while we're on here. If you can't do that, then it's okay.
Well, it's not that I can't do it. It's that I don't know it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't, not a big deal. I put you on the spot there while we're doing this. But
Yeah, let's see. I
have Wi-Fi on my phone, but I'd like to be able to use the internet on my laptop. So forgive me for putting you guys on the spot.
Well, we'll see if we can get it to you here, because I don't want to say it on air.
No,
of
that's
course.
what I'm saying. Can you just send me the old secret message
How
here?
about because we're sitting right across, I write it down and just give it to you.
Hey!
But shield it from that camera. You got to.
Oh, you got it there?
You got it? Okay, Johnny's
I
got it.
don't know if I think I do. I think that's the. I think
Give it
that's
a
the
shot.
Password.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. Let me
So
try
anyway,
it right
while
now.
you're doing that, I'm going to just review our
Boom.
picks for these playoffs so far.
And we're going to get to the Habs, guys, so just chill out.
Oh, we're there
Kidding,
already.
we love you.
So I picked Florida Rangers, Dallas, and Oilers. John picked Florida Canes, Colorado, and Oilers. And Drew picked Florida Rangers, Colorado, and Oilers. So far, Florida's up 3-2. So everybody who picked Florida's got that. Rangers are 3-2. So me and Drew have the Rangers. John's got the Canes, and they're coming back. Dallas is up 3-1. So I have Dallas. You guys took Colorado. Sorry about your luck.
It's not over yet, buddy.
And Oilers are tied 2-2. We all took the Oilers, so we're watching the Oilers. Now, let's get over to this International Ice Hockey Federation tournament that's going on. Our boy Slafkovsky is the star. People are going friggin' crazy over this guy. I saw a lineup of 50 people. They all had Slafkovsky 20 shirts on.
They were on sale at the Bell Center last week, I think.
Were they? Oh, I should have got one.
Slovakian ones?
Right there?
Oh, these, yeah. This just came from Montreal, actually. Yeah, so
That's
brand
an
new
awesome
piece of
shirt.
material on sale from the Bell Center. Yes, thank you.
But Slav is going crazy in his native Slovakia. They're going nuts over this guy. This guy's
And
like
so,
a
you know
rock
what? And
star.
so they should.
Yes.
Okay, so they should. And everybody should always embrace their own and elevate them.
And they are. They're taking this guy on, and he's having a ball over there.
But at the
He
same
really
point,
is. Yeah.
it's not Rocket Richard in the sweater, okay?
Well-
Let's not go overboard.
Montreal Canadiens fans never go
Let's
overboard,
not
John. I don't
go
know.
overboard.
Well, see- what you're talking about.
See, right now they're in a situation where, they are in the situation where they're people in our generation were buying number 9.
Our
These guys are-
you mean the octogenarian generation?
Oh,
I don't think. You know what? Back then,
Who was number
Wait,
9,
wait.
Drew? On Montreal
That's-
Canadiens.
If I don't know this, I will leave the room. So, the Rocket, you guys, come on.
Okay. Just to make
Now-
sure.
You want to make sure I have a pulse.
see,
You want to make sure I
now-
have a pulse still. Eh?
We're
Is
having
that
a
it?
good- we're having a good effect on Drew.
Let's be clear. Yeah, I mean,
He knows this.
we're teaching him.
Now, can he remember number 5?
I'm learning.
Let's be clear. Back in the day when we bought a Montreal Canadiens sweater, there was no number on it.
It didn't cost you an arm and a leg.
There's
There was no numbers. You had to
put
go
it
out
on.
and find a number and ask your mother to sew it on every day for 7 days.
That's true. That's true.
That's pretty.
That's true.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the sweaters we bought never had numbers
They
on
didn't have numbers.
them. They didn't have Richard on them.
And they
or
definitely
anything.
didn't have names.
No, it was just.
But they were made in Canada.
they were made in Canada.
Yeah, those Chinese knockoffs were horrible. I used to.
But
I ordered them for a long time. They're bad.
And you know, I'm so happy for Slafkovsky.
They're bad quality. I don't want them anymore.
Oh, what do you want me to do about it? Can I tell
Paul's
you?
like, can I just talk about Slav? Shut up.
Slafkovsky.
Let's buy North American and solve this problem.
Buy Canadian.
Yeah, buy Canadian or well,
By Lake Canadian.
We are not a
La
political
Blue Blanc
show.
et Rouge.
We are not a political show,
No.
but if we want to be, we will. We
I'll
love you.
put tariffs on those guys, and they won't send another sweater over here. Those junk sweaters.
I hope China's not listening. If China listening to the show, we're in trouble. Oh
Are
no,
there- listen, are
don't
there
wanna
any
make
Chinese
Have we-
hockey players?
Hey,
we don't want to make the
Is your
dictators
phone-
mad.
Do you have a Huawei phone?
Huawei. Hey,
What's a Huawei phone?
are there any Chinese
Joshua
hockey
Wawa?
players? Wowie.
I don't think there's any Chinese hockey players. Well, I shouldn't say that. Let me Google it now that I have access to the
I know
internet.
there's Japanese hockey players, but I don't know if there's Chinese hockey players.
I think they play baseball.
There's
I'm
some
not
Chinese, but there's the Japanese play baseball. They're good baseball.
There are
But anyway-
players from China.
Anyway, I'm happy for Slafkovsky, right?
There are
Because
players.
Absolutely.
And you know what? He's
Parker
really,
Fu, Andon Song, Ryan Sproul, Zach Ewan, Josh Nichols, Jeremy Smith, Brandon Yip, all from China. Carry on.
Wow, good.
Excellent.
I didn't know that.
I don't know who any of those
that's
guys
another
are,
good-
but
That's
okay.
another good factoid.
There you go.
But I'm happy for Slav though, because this guy's done good on our team this year, and he's going to be better next year. And he's getting accolades. He's busting Cole Caulfield stones. Did you know they call Cole Caulfield Mouse?
Do they?
That's his nickname, Mouse.
Because he's so fast. Is that why? Or is it because he's small?
I don't
Okay.
know, but I like Mouse
Maybe
better than
He
Rat.
eats a lot of cheese.
Hey, I like most better than rat.
That's right. I know that.
Marshawn.
He eats a lot of cheese.
Because he's little,
think-
like a little mouse.
I think the name is cute.
How do you say mouse in French?
I will Google it.
Moose.
You know, moose. Is it? Is it moose?
I have Google. It's
Moosey.
spelled S-O-U-R sour I-S. Souris.
Is
Souris.
it? So that's what he is. A
Souris?
Souris.
Souris?
Souris.
I don't know. Okay.
Anyway, if anybody's out there that knows French, yeah, let us know.
Qu'est-ce que c'est à la mercredi? Today's mercredi.
That's right.
Every Wednesday. Absolutely. Mercredi.
That's right. Every
you.
Mercury
Absolutely.
Every mercredi.
at noon.
Freddie
At
Mercury.
midi.
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury.
No, Freddie Mercredi.
So you know what? He's busting Cole Caulfield stones all the time. So they're having a ball over there, our Canadian boys, and I love it. I'm glad to see them happy and getting along. And we got this Tyler Toffoli guy floating around, wants to come back, and they got a picture of him carrying a bag with a Montreal Canadiens jersey in it.
Do they really?
And he was in Toronto, and he had a beautiful dinner with Jake Evans and his wife.
Okay. Yeah, they're buddies. Toffoli and Evans are good
Yeah.
buddies. Yeah. They miss each other.
There's a little bit of rumor for you guys out there. There's the rumor mill going. But
Yeah, Toff is. I loved Toffoli when we had him. What a nice signing
I
that
couldn't
was.
believe I saw them together like that. I that blew my mind when I saw them.
Yeah, they're buddies. It's
That's great.
yeah.
So here's another guy who's having a good series in the IIHF, and that's Gooley.
Caden Gooley yesterday goal
Yes.
and assist.
Well,
Yes.
yesterday he was considered the player of
He was
the game.
game.
Well, he wasn't considered.
for
He
the
was
Canadiens.
named. Sorry.
Named.
But I think he kind of blew it on the last goal against the against the Canadian team.
Yeah,
And it's the perfect
what
time to
happened?
make mistakes in the offseason.
He gave the puck up and
And-
they tied it 6-6.
Was that the Marco Rossi goal?
Okay.
Remember
Yes.
we talked about Marco Rossi?
Yes.
Yes.
And there he is. Future Montreal Canadian Marco Rossi. Yeah.
They tied it up and it was 6-6.
I interviewed Rossi when he played the Ice Dogs, by the way. Nice kid.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
kid.
Good kid. Good kid.
Sensible?
Confident kid. Yeah.
Sensible, good head.
Humble and confident, honestly, just initial impressions of talking to him. And the funny thing is, I lost the interview. Like, I lost the footage.
Oh,
because,
no.
or no, here's what it was. Sorry, the audio did not work. So I recorded a full interview with Rossi
Test 1 2
and
Test.
a couple other Ice Dogs players.
Test.
And then I didn't test the mic, apparently. And I asked him, this is just before he got drafted. This is in 2019 or 18. One of those 2 years. Here, I'll just pull it up. Fact check. And anyway, I asked him, because he was leading scorer of the Ottawa 67s. He had like a crazy amount of points. I'm going to pull it up right now for you guys. But Marco Rossi was 9th overall at the 2020 NHL draft. Sorry. So this interview I did with him was just before COVID. So this is actually in early 2020 when I spoke with him just before the world shut down. So with the 67s in his second season, he had 39 goals, 81 assists, 120 points in 56 games. Just ridiculous numbers he had.
Those are ridiculous
And
numbers,
the
but
Buffalo
but we
Sabres-
need a goal scorer.
We do need a goal scorer.
Yeah.
We need
Not an assist maker.
yeah. So I mean, right
where
now
is
in
he?
in 103 NHL
He's
games,
playing for Canada.
he's playing for Austria.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Austria!
Right. That's right.
Well then.
He's scoring on Canada.
Good day, mate. That's from Dumb and Dumber.
But what is he in the Laval system or
No. He's with the Minnesota Wild organization. He's a Minnesota Wild.
We never got him.
draft pick. No. That's what I'm saying. I'm joking because I'm saying They didn't know who Rossi. Just shut up, guys. Shut up, you critics.
I
out
didn't
there.
even know. I'd never heard of the guy.
I'm
Quite the
sorry. I
story.
get a little fired up. We love you. Even if you don't like us, we still love you. Take that. So, kill him with kindness. Anyways, Marco Rossi. Half hour. Camera's still going so far. But I will get to that in a second. But anyway, he's a good kid, and there's potential interest in him. He is relatively on the short side, though. 5'9", 182 pounds.
No more Smurfs.
Very skilled player, but he made it interesting for Team Austria, who he, of course, knows David Reinbacher, their fellow countryman.
Sure.
So, so not much to go into on Rossi. I don't want to get into too much speculation and overhype. I do that enough on my channel, but he's an interesting player, and Gouli had himself a game, of course. This tournament is hard to judge because it's not best on best, so everyone's kind of... We got to talk about Kapanen, Montreal's prospect, who just got, 5 goals in 2 games?
That's the guy.
So-
That's the guy who's lighting it up for me.
He is lighting it up, but I'm like, okay, not taking anything away from him. I just don't want to get too overhyped on an international tournament where it's not best on best. It's good. It's great for his confidence. I'm not going to take that away. I hope he becomes something with the Canadiens, or at least with the Rocket. You got to enjoy it while this happens, but I'm trying to learn not to get too overhyped when all of a sudden, like, you guys just start putting up numbers, because we know how it can happen. You can be streaky, right? It's not going to maybe necessarily last.
What's your take on Kapanen,
So
John?
Kapanen, I think, is an interesting prospect that needs to be signed.
Okay.
Because if he's not signed in about a year, he's gone. He becomes a free agent. So I guess he was drafted in the Bergeron era. Is that correct?
Yes, he was. Let me just pull it up here. I'll get him for you.
So why is he not signed?
That's what I was just going to ask you. What are they waiting for?
Me. Why is he not signed?
What are we waiting for? I'll pull him up here.
It's kind of like SNL and Justin Timberlake.
We
comes
pulled a
up.
hamstring over there.
Guys, I don't know if you know, I went to school for acting.
Too bad. Yeah, and that's why you're here today.
Yeah.
Doing podcasts.
What this proves is that I can't act.
Doing podcasts.
Is that camera still running?
It's still running. Let's get a quick commercial break in before we talk about Kapanen. To be continued.
You know
I don't
what?
care where they're playing.
It's a world stage. You're playing at the end of your season, so you could be tired. I mean, guys like John Tavares, who know they're on their way out, are taking an opportunity to live out their dream.
Yeah, really.
And actually win something?
Seriously, and that's no disrespect to him, but he knows that he's got a limited time playing professional hockey. So he's taking advantage of opportunities. He's going over and playing in a world tournament. He's playing for Canada. He scored the winning goal in overtime for us yesterday, even though he looked bad on a couple of the goals that went in against us.
Well, that's good for him too. Good for him.
Absolutely.
Good for him, because
For Johnny Toronto.
Because everybody runs.
Because he's not going to win a
runs
Stanley
on
Cup,
steam.
so it's good for him.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing they paid him,
Well, did he already win a Stanley Cup?
11 by
With,
7.
Well,
with
he
the
might have
Islanders?
won with the Islanders,
Yeah.
but he ain't winning one with the
I think
Leafs.
the Islanders are going to win a cup before the Leafs. That's Patrick Waugh. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong on that one.
I know, because you still think Patty Waugh's coming to coach Montreal, even though Marty's here for 3 more years. Anyways, so Oliver Kapanen.
Yes.
Oliver Kapanen, a 2021 NHL draft selection with the Canadiens, 64th overall in round 2. And he's 6 foot, 178 pounds, from Sweden. He's a centerman. He shoots right. So if you're trying to look at projections for potential NHL ceiling for this guy, which, this is me saying this with fair ignorance. I can admit ignorance on a player to an extent. But, I mean, we all kind of have been envisioning Owen Beck being the future 4th-line center for the Canadiens, unless somehow he becomes a 3rd-line center. I think Kirby Dach should be our 3rd-line center, because we want to get top 2 centers and have Kirby Dach as your 3rd-line center is a fantastic position to be in my opinion. But with Oliver Kapanen obviously lighting it up recently at this tournament, I mean, I don't want to undermine what he's been doing, but I just don't know what to expect. I mean, if he's not signed yet, there must be a reason, because maybe he hasn't proven
that's a
enough
good point.
yet.
Or he doesn't want to sign.
Or he may not want to sign. But when are you saying when the deadline is for them to
I
sign
think
him,
it's
or no?
2025, July 1st. He has to be signed by then.
So they got lots of time still.
Yes,
They still got a year.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, the guy's been sitting around for 4 years, and why hasn't he signed? I mean, he's talking to players who are prospects and are being onboarded and going through training and everything else. I'd like to see him. Yes, I'm committed to the system, and let's get with the program.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he's putting up good
You're in or
numbers
you're out,
and-
basically. And why not dot the line, have him as an asset, and then trade who knows.
Yeah, and that's Hughes' MO.
Take advantage of your draft. Take it, you spend a draft choice on the guy, take advantage of it. So, we talk about people living up to doing their best. Okay? So to me, part of that is the Canadiens as an organization. If you draft somebody with intent, then you need to sign them with intent. That's doing your best.
Yeah, get off the, what do you call it, crap, or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you think this guy's good, sign him. What are you waiting for?
But we're going by.
Get out of the outhouse or get in.
When have we talked about it before this tournament, though?
We haven't.
So that's what I mean. Like, if there was.
Well, we don't know everything about hockey.
No, we're yeah.
I don't know.
We get a good show.
We're close.
I don't know.
We're close.
We don't know a lot about.
We're pretty close.
The business of hockey. That's what we don't know. And
We don't
we've
know
been
it.
told that.
That's and who does like Craig Button?
well,
Craig
nobody.
Button nailed it as far as the comments on us because when you're newer doing a podcast like we are, when you're newer like us, you're not going to get respect. Like they're just going to look for every reason to tear you down. And
That
see
was
if you're
Rodney Dangerfield. Just so we're
I don't
clear,
get no respect.
it wasn't.
Hickory dickory dock.
I don't get no respect. I don't know.
Hey,
Anyways, what I'm saying is Craig Button said it right. Is it too many people know too much about everything? So that's the world we live in.
yeah, it is.
All of us.
We don't
when it
know
comes to-
anything. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, you know the difference between I don't know.
I know
Leafs
Schultz.
and Habs.
I know Schultz. I know nothing.
I wish people
I
could see your
see
face when you do
nothing.
that. Yeah. So
Hey, I want to get back to
back to the octogenarians.
I want to get back to a question I asked you guys again last week. I asked you last week because there's things that are rumbling right now about what I asked you.
okay.
And that's about, do you think Chicago would be willing to trade their second round pick for the number 5 if
Second
Habs
overall.
have something they really want?
It's
Now, you said
very-
no. You guys were adamant no.
I'm not trying to just wrangle off or rely on other opinions, but it's just very rare that it happens. Apparently, like the last time that a team traded up in the draft to go up was when they when they drafted Daniel and Henrik Sedin from Brian Burke, and that was in the 1999 NHL entry draft. That's the last time guys moved up, and since then, it's been a bit of a faux pas. It hasn't really happened.
Well, they're due. They're due.
They're
So
due,
Let me
but
put this.
Chicago-
expect the unexpected
Let me
from Kent
put-
Hughes.
Let me put this to you.
But Chicago is desperate for a great hockey player. I don't think they're getting.
They
rid
got
of that.
one last year. Come on.
Yeah, they
But
want one more.
Let me put this to you. The Habs we know have their eye on Demidov. They would love to have this guy.
Ivan.
That's what we want and need. So, Chicago pundit Scott Powers thinks Chicago is narrowing it down to 2 players, Levshunov or Demidov. Now, both are great prospects, but history has shown that if it's close to who they're going to pick, Chicago will lean towards a big defenseman over the smaller winger. So this trade could not only be possible, but it could be imminent. Now, Hughes made it clear he wants Demidov. What's he willing to give up to make that trade?
Who made it
John,
clear?
if he's going to make the trade, who would he give up?
Who made
want?
Who made it clear they wanted Demidov?
Montreal.
Montreal did.
Oh, they talked to him already. Oh yeah, they want this guy. His agent, of course, you take their agents; they're full of baloney anyway. But he says that if he played in North America, it would be a hard choice between him and Celebrini. This kid is so good, and I watched tapes of this kid, and this kid plays a different hockey game than anybody you've ever seen. He is just unfriggin' believable. Now, having said that, is there anybody, John, you think Montreal would give up to get this guy along with the 5th round pick? And
5th overall.
Chicago could, fifth overall.
I keep correcting you just to be clear.
Yeah, good. I always say that. Keep correcting me until I get it in my head.
It's all out of love, Paul.
It's like number 5 on the Habs. Gotta keep correcting.
Well,
but is there anybody you think, John?
If you're the Habs, you have an abundance of left defensemen, I believe. So somebody in that pool of players could be traded with the draft choice, as well as your other first-round draft pick.
There you go.
And you have a lot of draft picks as well for the 2025 season too.
Yeah, because
yes, they do.
I can see giving up, if that's what you wanted to do. I can see giving up another draft choice, as well as a defenseman from the pool of defensemen that you have.
Drew,
Montreal has 2 first-round picks this year and next year. Mm-hmm. So can't forget about that.
Nope, we have. That's right.
So now Sportsnet lied to us, though, because I saw on the day of the draft lottery that Montreal had the 24th pick and the 5th overall pick.
Right.
But apparently it's not the 24th, from what people are continuing to tell me, that it's like 27th or 28th. Like, are the conditions not fully met on this second first-round pick that we have this year? Because I'm still... Here, I'm trying to read this.
Is that on 2024 or 2025?
Okay, here it is. It says that we have for this year. For this year. So so Montreal apparently has the 27th.
Okay.
Last year we traded Alex Newhook for the 31st or 32nd pick, I want to say.
2 picks.
Alex Newhook. That's the beauty of actually having Google, is I can not completely look like an idiot. So
yeah, we don't want to take that away from you.
I know. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
that was a compliment.
I'm a moron, is what he's saying. I'm kidding.
2 picks.
31st overall and 37th overall picks traded for Alex Newhook. So that means that is 4 draft picks better than last year. So we have the 27th pick and the 5th pick. So do I think that they would trade a big package for Demidov? Here's the thing I'm thinking about when it comes to Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton. When they have interviewed the player that they like the most, and there's a chance to get him earlier or later in the draft, they're going to try to get creative and get a player similar to, or get that player and just offer what a team will take in order to get him. And that instance was Kirby Dach in 2022. So obviously Chicago wanted some picks or some players, and Islanders were able to get in there and take Romanov. But I know that when the Canadiens are, I shouldn't say I know. What I think, based on what I've seen the Canadiens do, is that when they identify a player they really like, they'll make a realistic pitch to get him with a certain amount of picks or players. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know that I see it. What I know from Kent Hughes, and I was listening to Eric Engels the other day on the Sick podcast, expect the unexpected. I agree with him on that. We've seen that we expected them to take a forward last year, took David Reinbacher. We've seen that a lot of people were pushing for Shane Wright or Logan Cooley. They took Slafkovsky. Slovakia, showing that was the right decision. David Reinbacher, we're still not sure, but we believe in him. But when it comes to this year, what Eric was saying was that they're going to address the forward top 6 group.
He's definitely getting the forward.
That pick?
Now, absolutely. If he keeps the 5th round pick,
they could, or they'll trade for one.
He will definitely take. Yeah. Either way,
they need to add 2 more top 6 forwards.
We need a forward.
We need 2. That's what Eric was saying. We need 2 forwards. And I agree with that.
Let me throw some more monkey wrenches into this whole thing.
Yeah. Now, and there's another player we're going to talk about.
The Hawks we know about, Demidov and Lushunov. They're the 2 they're looking at. Now, Ducks, which are 3rd pick, are looking at Leshulnov, or Leshunov.
Yeah.
But they're also looking at Sam Dickinson, a 6'3", 194 from the London Knights.
From the London Knights, yep.
Okay.
About to win the OHL championship, the London Knights, yep.
So Jackets, who have pick number 4, are looking at Lindstrom, but they're also looking at Konsta Helenius, 5'11", 180 center from Finland. So because we're looking at all these players, because we think, Demidov won't be around for number 5. You know what? There's no guarantee he will be. But if Montreal can move up to number 2 and get him, that would be a coup.
How big is Demidov?
5'11". I got him right here. 5'11", 180 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I got written down. 5'11", 180.
If I was Kent Hughes,
Okay, let's say you're Kent Hughes.
and I can pick 5th overall because that's what I'm entitled to do, and I believe from some of the expert pundits in hockey, who's the guy that we refer to all the time with his mock draft?
Bob McKenzie.
Bob McKenzie. Bob McKenzie is saying that Caden Lindstrom will be available to pick 5th overall.
Well,
And he's 6'3" and 210 pounds. I'm sitting with my 5th round draft pick, and I'm picking Caden Lindstrom.
Yeah, I would be too. If he's available, I would be.
I'm going for size, and I'll tell you, it really. I mean, watching that Edmonton Oiler game, with the game over, and seeing these it's big guys hitting big guys. It's a very physical series, and they get going right from the top of those games. That's what you've got to be looking at, not what you saw for 82 games. You got to be looking at what's going on in the second round of the NHL playoffs, and can you ice a team that looks like that? And that's what's going to get you to a final.
Well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So, and Lindstrom, I mean, here's the thing. I think where the problem is with all this, and that's why everybody's having such a hard time with it, is that we have Celebrini, which is, I mean, a fact that he's going to get taken number 1, I think. I don't think there's going to be anybody else this time.
No.
There's not going to be a
He's the only one that's
switcheroo.
Kent Hughes said, separates himself from the rest of the group.
But 2 to 10 are so good, all of them, that any permutation could happen here. I mean, it could be an interview with one of these guys. They just like the guy, and they take him.
Absolutely, he could sway them.
It's a real wild card this year, which I'm going to be
Jeremy
so excited.
sway them.
Jeremy Swigman.
He could sway them.
Yeah, so, I mean...
He could slay them.
Like you said, expect the unexpected. People are saying that for a reason. But
that's what they've done.
But maybe Montreal will make a move to get this guy. I mean,
I think
we missed Mishkov last year. We could have taken him.
I think Ken Hughes knows he needs to have a goal scorer.
Yes.
He knows that. I think Ken Hughes also knows that the fans are with him, but they definitely want him to take a goal scorer. They're still living with Reinbacher. And Ken Hughes is living with Reinbacher as well. Now that Slafkovsky is starting to move, okay?
Flourish.
David Reinbacher, there's a lot of weight now on his shoulders. He's got to live up to this expectation of being a Slafkovsky.
In terms of how high of a pick?
Perhaps in terms of his ceiling.
Ceiling.
He's got to move up. He's got to embrace what's there for him now. He's going to have a career season in Laval,
just like Logan Mailloux did. And I think that's very possible. I don't think that Reinbacher will put up the same offensive numbers as Mailloux, but that's okay.
No, but he's got to contribute that in defense. He's got to contribute as being like player of the game, like Gooley was yesterday. I.e., he has to be exceptional because he was drafted number 1. Or he was the first round pick for the Habs.
5th overall, yeah. Well, I think that based on, and again, this is extremely,
Mailman.
Sure.
Mailman.
I don't know. Some guys in blue
mailman?
shirts. No,
a
it's
lot
not
of
Ryan.
people like the mailman actually.
Yeah, Ryan hasn't come by.
We should
yet.
have the mailman come every week.
He's a good guy. Ryan's a good guy.
Well, I like getting mail.
Yeah,
You got mail.
Exactly.
you've got mail.
So
When it
how
comes to
about my you and the 5th round pick for the 2nd round pick? Chicago.
No. You know why? And it's because I absolutely not. Because they don't have, not everything is so contingent on this 5th overall pick this year. They're going to take a good player, or they're going to take a good player. So guess what?
True. Good point.
So I mean, they will acquire a forward, and they're going to create a heck of a package. It might not even be this year. It might be next draft where they go for the next top 6 forward scorer that is going to help the Habs break out offensively. It might not be this year. It really might not.
It might not, but whoever they get might lead to it as well.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And that's with a trade somewhere down the line in the future.
Yeah, so it could be, and honestly, the way they're creating expectations, at least in the media right now, is that they're definitely going to trade for a forward this offseason or before the draft, like they did with Kirby Dach and Alex Newhook the last 2 drafts. So I think they're certainly going to try to do that, whether it's for a young player or...
You want to talk about another player, I think, that is available that hasn't really been drafted, that's looking at a few teams right now?
You talking about the guy from the KHL?
Yes.
You can talk about him if you want.
I mean, you want to talk about him, right?
Honestly, I don't know enough about him. I'm going to read your article as we go along here. I know everybody is talking about him, and I'm going to pull up his name.
My understanding is like nobody has his rights, correct?
Not yet. No, nobody does. But there's like up to 12 teams interested in Maxim Siplakov. And I'm probably saying it wrong.
He's been talking to the Bruins and the Leafs. And I guess supposedly he's had a Zoom call with the Leafs management, and they're extremely interested in signing this guy.
He the 26-year-old?
He is available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, he's available. So Montreal may be interested as well, but I don't know enough about him right now. I'm gonna look him up right now, but again, like I'm not gonna try to.
But I mean, we're gonna look everywhere we can for a goal scorer. We've got to find some people to put pucks in the net. We know that last year one of our biggest problems was our defense was down with in the minus as far as like letting pucks go into our net. Sure, they put some pucks in the net, but we have to change our plus minus.
We really do. Yeah, we were like minus 75 or something crazy. We were high.
You know why people like this Siplakov guy?
Siplakov.
He's 6'2", 190. And he put up really good numbers this year in the KHL with Moscow Spartak. In 65 games played, 47 points, 31 goals, 16 assists. They were talking about like Eric was talking the other night about players that have gone from the KHL to the NHL back and forth. Last time that happened was with Alexander Radulov. And he was a spark plug for the Canadiens. He had himself a good season, then went and signed a big long-term deal with Dallas.
That was a Bergeron pickup of a guy who wasn't drafted. Bergevin, who just came in and grabbed him and had a great year for the Habs that year.
And then he said, thanks for the money, peace, and went and signed with Dallas. And that was the year Markov left, too, so don't remind me.
Bergevin wouldn't give him the money he wanted.
Yeah, he didn't really do that. He said he wanted to play for Montreal. Bergevin was a cheapskate. He wouldn't give him the money, and then he said, well, I got to go. And then after Bergevin says, well, we'll give you the money. He said, too late, I already signed the contract, you moron. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
Take your Radulov and get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not really sad that they didn't keep. I liked him. Yeah, he was a good player. He was a fun player.
Liked him.
He was a very good player.
He was a game breaker.
He was a dynamo.
He was a game breaker, and he wasn't a big guy.
He reminded me of a Rocket.
Yes,
the way he played.
I think we spoke about that back then.
Yeah,
he was a talent. He had talent and skill to back up, the reason that they went for him. But I haven't seen enough of Siplakov play. I know why there's interest because he's a big forward. He's a big, strong forward who's already ready right now to play, apparently, in North America because of his age and experience in the KHL. So will he fit into what the Canadiens need? He might, but I'm patient at this point. I think the Canadiens are going to try to take the players that
so when you say you're patient,
yes, I am.
What does that mean?
What that means is I'm not expecting the Canadiens to make the playoffs next year like you are.
When are you expecting them to make the playoffs?
Yeah, what year are we going to be alive by the time they do it?
You better be.
And when are you expecting them to go to a final?
Octogenarians.
Sounds like Def Leppard's new record. Octogenarians.
I expect them to get in or miss by a hair in 2026.
Okay, and when do you expect them to play in the finals?
In the finals?
Yeah, the finals.
I want to win a round first.
Oh, we got what do we got here? Emergency alert. There's no danger to your health or safety.
Okay.
We're octogenarians. There's always danger.
This is a test.
This was the warn. I think they warned us about this one.
There was a test warned about a week and a half.
That's because of the solar flares. Okay, so anyway.
How come we didn't get the warning?
So anyway.
We are so all over the place on this episode.
So listen, let's get back to the when you think
when are we going? When are we going to the finals to win the cup?
Finals?
Going to the finals. I I think Montreal is set to overachieve, hopefully, which means they'll get there soon. Maybe I don't know about the finals, but if you really want me to pick a year, 2026, I think we're going to be run out of patience if they don't make it. So if they don't make the playoffs in 2026, it's going to be like, what's going on here? Like next year, hopefully they get closer. We don't want them to be a bottom 5 team again in 2025. But by 2026, I hope that they make it or they just miss. But as far as the finals goes, 2029?
2029?
2028?
So 5 years from now?
I would say 2028.
4 years from now.
2028.
Wow. I hope it's... No, next year we're making the playoffs.
That's 5 years.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong,
2028.
that's good news for me because that means they get there sooner and I'm happier. So if I'm wrong, that's great.
If you're wrong, then we're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey!
I like that. I like that.
Who's left?
What do you think? When are they going to get in the playoffs? All right, we already know next year. And then when are they going to make the finals for you?
I got to see the Canadiens in the finals in 4 years' time.
So 1 year earlier than me. That's not a big difference.
And what I want to see though is I want to see them start to make those moves with the players that they have.
Yeah, I mean this rebuild, like, it's going to get real serious this summer and next summer.
I mean, I can't wait to see the team that plays the very first game of the NHL schedule this year.
Yeah, me neither. And I think we're going to make the playoffs next year. And I think we're going to be in the finals probably shortly after that.
And I think we're going to see
Shortly. No, give us a year, Paul. You can't don't.
What's shortly after 2025?
2027.
26, 27.
So you're saying the year that I'm expecting them to make the playoffs for the
Yes.
first time, you're saying they're going to the finals.
Yes. And what you don't know that I know is that I'm a time traveler and I've been there and seen it. So
Only you know what I know.
there you go.
Well then, thank you.
So get your money out and bet on it. What I'm telling you, everybody. Just
Go to FanDuel today.
I think you're in fantasy land.
Go to
a little bit.
FanDuel today and bet $1 and make 150.
Now listen. We all know that we don't know anything about hockey or hockey business. So anybody who listens to us is crazy.
If you're still here at this point in the show.
The troisième étoile de dernière semaine.
I didn't do any 3 stars this week.
Well, I did.
I mean, I guess Caden Gooley gets a star for being the Canadian player.
Slap for representing the Habs.
We didn't get a chance to talk about this, but
IIHF. Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
I was going to bring on an OH. Actually, apparently we're not going to hear from Matt. He's busy. He's a plumber, too. I don't know if you guys know this, but
Yeah.
he's under somebody's
Well,
sink
we need
somewhere.
plumbers to fix sinks.
We need plumbers to fix
We
sinks.
need plumbers
and
to fix leaks.
on the 3rd and 4th line on the Canadiens. That's a hockey term. I don't know if you know
Yes, it
plumbers
is.
a hockey term.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Yeah, we know that.
That's hockey business right
Right.
there.
So Beckett Seneke. Am I saying it right?
Seneke, yes. I heard
So-
that name before.
Now, I'm not going to get it. Like, we talked about Demidov there, because I think that if there is enough interest for Kent Hughes and the Canadiens, and if it's all contingent on what Chicago does with their second overall pick.
True.
So whatever they decide to do, we'll see. It'd be shocking if Demidov was available at 5 still, according to what they say he's going to be. But there's just some folks out there right now talking about Beckett Seneke, who's currently playing in the OHL finals, down 3-0 to the London Knights with the Oshawa Generals, who is drawing interest from Habs fans, and they've been telling me to look into him. And I was going to have OHL analyst Brandon Caputo come on, who has been in Oshawa and London watching the OHL finals and watching Beckett Seneke. He couldn't come on today, but I'm going to get him to come on very soon and talk about this player. And he's been having himself a heck of a playoffs with Oshawa. Mind you, they're on the verge of losing in the OHL finals, but they're in the finals. And so far in 16 games played with the Generals, Seneke has 10 goals, 12 assists, 22 points in 16 playoff games.
Wow.
21 playoff minutes. He's a right winger. He shoots right. He's 6'2", 175. This year with the Generals in 63 games played, 68 points, 27 goals, 41 assists. So not super sexy numbers, but they're just saying that, like Bob McKenzie, by the way, I looked at his draft rankings from January. Okay, so like the full draft rankings from the January edition, there's still going to be a draft, like a final rankings edition coming out. But right now, Seneke was ranked at 19th overall on Bob McKenzie's list in January.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're not picking him overall 5th.
Right, but he could be available at 27th, some people think.
Yes.
Some people.
Yes, sure.
But Arpon Basu is apparently saying that he could be going a lot higher, maybe not necessarily at 5th, where we're going to pick, but he could be going a lot higher, closer to the top 10 than was originally projected. So he's a talented scoring winger. He's a big winger as well. So it's a player that it's the kind
He's
of
a tall.
player,
He's a tall winger.
he's a tall winger who can score, and it's exactly the kind of player the Canadiens still need. So is he going to be available at 1st or 27th? Or sorry, 5th or 27th?
I don't think he'll be available.
We're not really thinking about taking him at 5th as far as fans go. At the same time, some, I think, based on the ones that are talking to me, are saying to look into him and seeing what he could become, because you got to think some of these draft picks over the years, I've looked back, and some of them have gone 2nd or 3rd round picks, and some of them end up becoming pretty darn good players late in the draft. So you got to find the diamond in the rough.
Pasternak.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's one example.
You have to find the diamond in the rough.
The Detroit
So,
Red Wings
You know what's
were the
crazy, though?
kings.
You know what's crazy? Cole Iserman. Cole Iserman was 4th on Bob McKenzie's list in January, and now he's 13th. That is the best pure goal scorer available in this draft, apparently, is Cole Iserman.
Well,
But he's a one-trick pony.
You just gave me a
according to
thought here. Like, maybe Hughes will trade the 27th pick and a player to whoever has got that 13th pick or whatever, or got a higher pick for
Iserman.
somebody like that. And this is the beauty of Montreal right now. And we've been saying this for John and I for well over a year. And now I'm starting to see other people say it. It's the flexibility the Habs have with all their draft picks, all their prospects, everything that balls up into one big thing is that Hughes is going to make a move, and it's going to be a good one for us.
And we're not going to know when it's going to be unexpected.
It's going to be one of those things, like all of a sudden, I never thought of that.
It would be pretty... go ahead.
It's going to play into what every other team, too. You're dealing with 31 other teams that have needs. And at one point, they may come up and say, we want something from you, Ken Hughes. We can give you this.
Yeah.
And that's what will determine. It's like, the second round pick, I don't see Chicago ever giving up that second round pick. So as much as you want it, you can't have it.
Second overall.
Yeah. Second overall.
This is the thing. There is so much good going on right now that it's the combinations and the possibilities for the Habs are really endless. They're endless. We can sit here and just talk about what the possibilities are for another hour here, right? And I love it. This is what we need. This is what teams do.
And it's great to have all these possibilities, but we need to do what we did last year with each and every player that we draft and have in our system, and that's development. And what we saw go on with a guy named Slafkovsky now is coming to fruition. The development time that we spent with him, what he's producing, the player he's becoming, and that's when it gets exciting to see how he's going to play 3 years from now.
He's 20 years old. He just
How
turned
he's
20.
going to play 3 years from now in the NHL. He's going to be playing at the level of, McDavid and everyone else. That's when it's going to get exciting, and that's when it's going to be time to onboard a couple of elite players from whoever is available and is out there, and if a trade can be made, bringing in an elite goal scorer,
Kaprizov,
and an elite goaltender.
Yeah. And
that'll be Jacob Fowler, hopefully. But hopefully we already have that goaltender in the system. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But
Kaprizov,
we know, just like all of our, and this is a Leaf lesson, we know we can't hope we're going to win a Stanley Cup. We have to do what is needed
to win a Stanley Cup.
I saw an amazing meme of Justin Trudeau the other day, and that's there's a reason why. Just give me a second here. And it was him. It was him appearing to be hired as the next Toronto Maple Leafs head coach and saying, "Don't worry, the Stanley Cup will win itself."
Yeah.
What a zinger! What a zinger that was. And I'm with you on the Slafkovsky train, by the way. In 2026, like I said, an elite goal scorer to me, who's a free agent in 2026, if he doesn't get re-signed by Bill Guerin in the Minnesota Wild, is Kirill Kaprizov. He's a free agent in the summer of 2026, when to me, 26, 27, that's the season where I think we start to really show what we're made of. And Slafkovsky will have been, he's going to be almost a few years in, like you said, and becoming that hopefully elite talent that we weren't even sure what to expect when we took him or whatever. I still think he'll be a more complete player than Austin Matthews. I'll own it.
What's going to be very interesting is,
I'm crazy, but I'll own
we talk about Ken Hughes being this great guy, drafting players. What's going to be really interesting is to see how good of a trader he is.
Well, we've already seen part of that too.
Yeah,
with Kirby Doc, with Newhook.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Doc, I love
Lane
Kirby
Hudson,
Doc, but I need Kirby Doc to play some more games.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true, I know.
Okay, I need Newhook. He's only played, maybe 2/3 of a season. I need to see him play some more games.
Stay healthy. You need them to be healthy.
I need also, even if they are healthy, how are they contributing? And so we'll see. But we do know that Kent Hughes has a lot to trade with. So that's where it's going to get very interesting.
And exciting. And I think a lot of our questions will be answered next season about all those players.
I can't wait to hear Bob McKenzie's final draft rankings, by the way. We got to do a show when those come out because his rankings, he has the most information of any insider. He's the original insider of the NHL, period. He's the original hockey
He's the OG.
insider. He's the OG. So when his rankings come out, we got to have a show to talk about these guys. And I really think you're onto something when it comes to that idea of the Canadiens could get 2 forwards in this draft. They might get a defenseman. They're going to get more defensemen later in the draft, I'm sure. But expect the unexpected, which means they will go about addressing their needs whichever way they have to, whether it's through draft or trade, in some way we don't expect at this draft.
And I think it's going to be something that's totally off the wall, and everybody's going to
It has been already.
Yeah, everybody's going to be going, wow, I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's exactly what they've done.
I can't wait.
That's what they've done.
The deal with any great team that has a great people in the front office who are scouts is taking advantage of what they know, what they've learned, and so when you're drafting like the 500th position in the draft, picking that one player that can actually stay in the NHL and be in the NHL. That's the key.
The diamond in the rough.
I think that you really, and that's the scouts they're going to be meeting this week. Actually,
and it's like, it's like, who knew that Tom Brady would be the GOAT? Somebody thought we need to draft this guy at this point because he's available. We have the next opportunity for choice. So pick him.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for with 24 draft choices over the next 2 years.
Is the diamond in the rough or more than one?
So not necessarily that 5th overall pick, which should be good.
Yes.
Okay. But what can we draft? What can we find? Will there be an opportunity for us to pick that GOAT at that point? Or will the team before us pick that GOAT? We don't know, and that's what we're going through.
And you never know. We might have already found it. We just don't know it yet.
Absolutely. It could be Lane Hudson.
I'm excited.
Yeah, but I think that they're going to come up with some sort of package.
It could be Owen Beck.
Could be.
When it comes to Machar, I think Machar is so underrated.
Could be Machar.
I think Machar is so underrated as a playmaker, especially.
We forget about all these guys.
That's what I mean. Like all these guys we've already got in the system.
We're so centric. What do you call that? Draft centric right now. That's John's favorite word. Draft centric.
We're trying to acquire more and more talent, and that's why I say it's so important to take what you've got
and make sure
and develop it.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. And I just think that what you said really, it became clear. Like you can get a vision of it really happening with Kent Hughes making a trade, and potentially not only taking a very good player like whoever. Let's just say whoever. I'm not even going to name players. I'm not going to name players.
Doesn't matter.
Whoever they take at 5th overall, or if they magically trade up, they could for who knows. But they could get that very good player at 5th overall, and then they really could make a nice package for a trade for another top 15 player, like a Taja Ginla, Berkeley Catton,
Bennett Surf, or what was that guy's name? Bennett Semegi?
For Bennett Seneke. So I'm saying they could get both, and I think that would get fans pretty excited if they were able to draft two very good players, ideally forwards, to be in the top 6, or they're going to try to get another player that's already ready, like a Marco, like maybe whoever.
Like a new hooker, Doc.
So they're going to go for a new hook Doc-esque trade again. They're going to go for the hat trick and try to get a player like that, or they're going to draft him.
Yep. So, I mean, there's, like I say, the possibilities are there.
They're endless.
But we're going to be talking about them for the next 4 weeks until June 28th when there's the draft. Then
we got so much time still.
All our questions will be answered on draft day.
Yeah.
Right?
In the meantime, go Oilers, I guess?
We got to think. I'm Rangers. I mean, I think Rangers are going to win it all.
You think so?
I think
Carolina's in the middle of a comeback, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to complete it.
They're great, but they're a good team. I mean, they're the future for the next few years. I mean, you might see them. But who the hell? I've got.
I think you have to be somewhere.
This guy. Who's Eric Young?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Sounds like an insurance salesman.
Yeah. Eric Young. Do you know anybody named Eric Young?
Nope.
Okay. Well, Eric Young, if you're listening to the show, forget about it.
And today, actually, I believe on Disney Plus, the Queen live concert from Montreal is being released. It's being
that's pretty cool.
Reimagined, remastered, and if I'm not mistaken, somebody was wearing a hat quite much like this at that concert.
Oh, Freddie Mercury?
Absolutely.
You sent me the picture. Just like John Lennon last week with his Habs jersey on.
There you go.
So, there you go.
And I forgot the breaking news. The Prime Minister of Slovakia
was shot
this morning.
Oh, no way.
Assassination attempt.
Absolutely.
So he survived, though.
Yeah, well, so far. So Slafkovsky
is going to be the Prime Minister.
He could probably be it right now. He's so popular. So there you go.
All right.
That's just the breaking news that I didn't know if you guys knew about. He got shot.
Well,
this morning.
Hope he's all right. Hope he heals well. I'm sure.
Well, we wish everyone well, obviously.
Yeah.
Sadly, too, we lost Ronnie Ellis recently.
Yes, Ronnie Ellis, the board polisher.
Remember Ron Ellis?
Yeah, Ron Ellis. He polished the boards.
Hold on.
No, don't look at your computer. Do you remember Ron Ellis? It's a yes or no question. Okay?
No. I did not know that. He's a Toronto Maple Leaf.
He is an ex-Maple Leaf from the 60s and played well and probably won a few Stanley Cups for the Leafs.
He had like a bunch of 20-goal seasons in a row, too. He was
a solid player. Probably had a lot of fun with Punch Unlock.
Yeah, he's a board buffer. He went up and down the boards, cleaning them, keeping them clean while he was doing it. So Ronnie Ellis was a good hockey player.
Well, God bless him.
Yep. So
solid.
Bad. Guys are dying from our generation, octogenarians that we are. Octogenarians are dying. Sad.
Yikes!
Like Red Kelly, remember him?
Yep.
I don't believe you remember. Yeah, get out of here.
I know that name, but I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, he was a politician.
He was.
Are we gonna do this Nelson Mandela thing? Right? Don't try and create this.
Hello. Anyway, we're getting out of here. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This has been Habsolutely. See you later, all you video people. It's been a great.
Thanks for everyone watching last week.
All the likes.
Thanks for all the positive likes. Thanks for all the great comments.
Yep. And even the negative ones. Thank you.
They
were all great.
They were all great.
We love you anyway.
We love everybody.
Love and peace.
We can work it out. Work it out.
And I'm declaring this right now. The third star from last week is
They 12 May 12.
Us. The Habsolutely crew.
Lemire.
Absolutely. We're the third stars.
Filion.
And Drew Deeks.
We're the third stars this week. We're naming ourselves the third stars.
Self-proclaimed.
Once again, Paul K. Lemire, John Filion, my co-host, YouTube superstar Drew Deeks here.
It's all about me.
Here.
It's all about
here.
me.
This is Habsolutely.
Salut, bonjour.
See you next week.
Merci.
Next Wednesday at noon. Tune in.
Ciao, ciao.
4680q.com radio. Ciao, ciao.